friends, welcome to Malaology. I am Teresa, Doctor of Metaphysics, an Ascension Guide, and Priestess, here to share easy ways you can use Mala and Mantra for magic, manifestation, and energetic healing. Today we're talking about the Solar Plexus Chakra. So we're working our way up the chakras, and you've probably gathered by now that I have a different take on how to view the chakras and how to manage the chakras, how to balance the energy and kind of feed the fire. So the solar plexus chakra, this is a big topic. So I'm going to try to just share things that I think perhaps you've never heard before about this chakra. So you've heard me discuss the chakra system and the energetic body as kind of a solar system, where each of the chakras is kind of a planet. And that said, with that premise, the solar plexus chakra obviously would be the sun of your energetic body. Okay, so the sun is where you project your personality, where you project your power. And that's kind of why the solar plexus chakra is where people feel that your self-confidence, your motivation, and your vivaciousness, your livelihood comes from this center, and that's all true. But when you think about the solar plexus, just the word solar plexus, right? You're thinking sun and network or branches, because a plexus is a network that branches out. So when you look at the rays of the sun, it looks like a really intricate web of light. And that's what happens in the solar plexus center. So your whole energetic body has, like I've said before, this pillar that comes from the crown chakra down through the root chakra and plugs you in from Father Sky to Mother Earth and vice versa. In this pillar of light, we have our energetic centers. At the very center of these centers is the solar plexus. So we have our sun that opens itself up in a toroidal field. So a toroidal field kind of looks like a donut of energy. It's got a hole in the center of it, and then a donut field around it, and light or energy works its way around the toroidal field like this, like it's blooming outward, and then it comes back into it. Okay, so just kind of envision that. A gold ring is like the perfect metaphor for the toroidal field of the solar plexus chakra. So if that makes it easier, just think of a gold ring or a gold donut. We'll come back to that visualization in a minute. So as the sun of your energetic body, and think about, if you study the sun, now I'm not a scientist, but if you really kind of meditate on the energy of the sun, you'll learn so much about your solar plexus chakra. So ultimately, inevitably, eventually, our sun will expand to 256 times its current size. So the sun, right now, it's in this state of compression where matter is compressed, and it's giving off heat and light, and it's projecting its rays outward, giving life to the rest of our solar system. And that's what your solar plexus chakra is doing. Eventually, the sun will grow, and it will no longer be compressing the matter down, but it will be releasing the matter outward, right? And projecting itself far, far out from where it is now. And you can do that too, right now. This is the nature of the solar plexus. You can project your energy, project your personality, project your intentions. And when you do that, now you've heard me talk about magic a lot. Magic and manifestation is kind of my thing. When you do that, magic happens. So now we're getting into the meat of magic. which we'll get into also in a second, but I'm going to work my way there. So we looked at the root chakra as rooting into Mother Earth, and that's what the energy looks like. And then we looked at the sacral chakra as connecting, reaching out, kind of like an umbilical cord to our mom, right? Because that's where we attached as babies. Also, that's where we can pick up attachments, right? But in the solar plexus chakra, we're seeing ourselves as blooming. Now, we talked about the seed, right? The seed of intention. It takes a root in the root chakra. It cracks open. It sprouts in the sacral chakra. And it blooms in the solar plexus chakra. So this is what's happening when we work our way up here, and when we balance this chakra, we're blooming our intentions. That's why as we work our way up to these higher chakras, I'm always going to say, oh, this is a very important energy center, because they all are. But for magic and manifestation, and for projecting your life and making the most of your life, this is a really big one. The sun is a furnace. It's the fire of your spirit. And in a furnace, that's where alchemy happens. So we're alchemists, we're magicians. And the alchemy that takes place in the solar plexus chakra is turning lead into gold. Your solar plexus is gold. That's the color. So when you want to, if you were to choose a mala or gemstones that you want to resonate with the solar plexus chakra, you would choose gold stones. So I'm wearing my tiger's eye mala today. Tiger's eye is a lot of these, the qualities in the stones that resonate with the solar plexus chakra, like the stones that resonate with the other chakras, are going to say what that chakra does. They're gonna tell you about the chakra, right? So tiger's eye will give you confidence. It gives you assertion. It gives you a lot of fire behind your intentions. So it's bold. It helps you to be bold, like a tiger, right? So tiger's eye, great for boldness. But then we have citrine, very, very different energy, but it also is highly resonant with the solar plexus chakra. Citrine is a great attractor of wealth and pretty much anything that you want to put out there. It's often called the merchant stone, right? The merchant stone. Merchants actually historically have kept a piece of citrine in their cash box or in their safe, or what are those things, gosh, that people used to use, cash registers, even their wallets. A lot of people have a thin piece of citrine that they keep in their wallets. So citrine vibrates with the solar plexus chakra, but it also kind of resonates with the higher chakras. You can see it's very clear and a lot more ethereal than the tiger's eye, which is much more opaque, and it's got some black and brown in there. So the tiger's eye resonates with the solar plexus chakra and balances it with the lower chakras, whereas citrine resonates with the solar plexus and balance it with the higher chakras. So it depends on what your purpose is working with your solar plexus chakra, what stones to use. Another great choice is pyrite. Pyrite is also called fool's gold. And this is a wonderful stone for the solar plexus chakra, as is gold or brass. So a wealth attractor, it just is. So that's something that happens in the solar plexus chakra, is we attract wealth. When we go up to the heart chakra, it really kicks it up as far as attracting things, but as a toroidal field, you see the energy go out and come back in, out and in. So it's bringing in, it's bringing in, it's bringing in, but it's also pushing out, pushing out. So this is the furnace, the alchemical process where you're pushing out lead, so to speak, or the drosses of the metals or the energy that you're transmuting and refining it in this furnace in your center and creating something much more precious within. And how do you do that? Because this is all done energetically, right? Well, there are a couple of physical things. I say energetically, and normally I don't recommend physical practices or physical materials to work with your chakras. Like a lot of people say, hey, wear this color to resonate with that chakra. And that's great. That's great. And I'm definitely one to ascribe to these methods to a degree because I make malas and I say this gemstone resonates with this chakra, that gemstone resonates with that chakra. But more than anything, your energetic focus is the strongest way to balance and activate your chakras. However, in the solar plexus chakra, there are a couple practices that you can do that are extremely effective. The first is the breath of fire. So the breath of fire, if you've never heard of it, is just a way to stoke the flames in the solar plexus so that you can fire the center up. It's not so much a balancer as an activator, but it's an amazing practice. And I would say it's a great thing for anyone to do who isn't sick or who doesn't have any kind of debilitating health problems. So I'm not a doctor and I'm not making prescriptions, but I'm saying as long as you are healthy and vibrant, you could do this for 1 minute to 5 minutes a day and it'll work wonders in your life. So to do the breath of fire, center yourself, you relax your body, you sit up as straight as possible, and remember that pillar of light coming through your crown chakra down through to your root chakra that's holding you in place and keeping you straight. Okay? And then when you breathe, you're going to make a fast breath outward, and the inward breath will just automatically happen. It's like you're creating a vacuum by pushing the breath outward fast and hard in short bursts. So it takes a little bit of practice and kind of feeling your way into it, and that's totally natural. I've done the breath of fire for years, and I still have to get a few breaths out before I can actually feel the fire stoking. Okay? So it looks something like this. It's going to look different. I would do it in front of a mirror so that you can see if your solar plexus is moving the way it should. Okay? It'll look something like this. All right, now I'm doing it fast. I'm going to slow it down for a minute. You can go slow, medium, or fast. Maybe it's a good idea to go slow at first. For me, it's very comfortable to go a little fast, but it looks like this. So you're pumping air out, and it automatically just pumps back in, okay? And so after you do that a few times, you'll find it's real easy to pick up the pace. So that's the breath of fire. Now, to see somebody really do that well, look it up on YouTube, and you'll see people with no shirt on, where you can see the diaphragm go up into their rib cage as they breathe out, and it kind of shows you how that's, by seeing it, you can understand how it's supposed to feel. The breath of fire will stoke the flame, and it's just a wonderful practice. The other one that I recommend is lemon. I know it's silly, but lemon oil eating lemons, smelling lemons. Lemons is an extremely powerful resonator with the solar plexus. And lemon is known, and other citruses is known to make you happy, to bring you joy. And that's the energy of the solar plexus chakra as well. It's not just a generator of the flame and a transmuter of energy, but it is a joy manifester, a joy creator, a joy generator. So I like to spray myself with, I have, here. Amanda Ellis has a channel on YouTube, and she has a website, Angelic Celestial Colors. This is her Metatron Dawn spray, and it's very lemony, and it makes me so happy. So anyways, if you're looking for something that's made in a really special way that will really work with your aura, that would be a great spray. But you can make your own too. A couple drops of lemon oil in purified water. That's it. Also, I blend argan oil with lemon oil, and I use it on my face and my hands. Lemon has a lot of antioxidant properties, right? So it's really good for your skin. It keeps you from oxidizing or aging very fast, and it makes you happy. So lemon, breath of fire and lemon. Any breathing technique actually will work with the solar plexus chakra. This is the center of breath, and breathing feeds the alchemical process. So I want to talk about alchemy a little bit more before we move on. So you can make yourself, you can create joy out of nothing. Like you can create motivation out of nothing. And joy and motivation come from this center as well. So this is the blooming of the flower. In the sacral chakra, we decided what we want, what we don't want. We figured out what our preferences in life were. And so the seed was cracked open. So now it's blooming, the flower is blooming, and we are reaching for what we want. But we wouldn't reach for what we want if we didn't think that we could get it, which is why the solar plexus chakra is associated with believing in yourself, with self-confidence, right? So if you didn't think that you would be a very good singer, then you wouldn't even try to sing. If somebody, doesn't think that they're a very athletic person, they're not even going to try out for the team or whatever in school. So that's one of the requirements, is believing in yourself. There's an old saying by Henry Ford: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So let's talk about that, okay? If you think you can, you're right. Because if you think you can, you will try to do it. You will make it happen. Therefore, you can do it. If you think you can't, you won't try to make it happen. You won't try to do it because you think you can't. So you're right, you can't. It's all a matter of belief in the self and knowing the self. And that happens in the sacral chakra, right? Making it happen happens up here. So when we talk about transmuting things alchemically, there are times when we don't want to do something, when we're not motivated. So we listen to, say, Tony Robbins or Les Brown or some inspiring motivational speaker, or we read a motivational book, or we have sayings posted around the house, and it lifts us up and it reminds us what we're doing, and it redirects us onto the path that we want to take in our life, right? That's transmuting lack of motivation into action, right? So it's the same thing with joy. We can feel down. We can forget that we have things to be grateful for. We can forget that we have this amazing life, this very rare and precious gift, right? But when we're reminded, we find joy in that. We can make that happen ourselves by making that happen when we don't feel motivated or we don't feel joyful. We're training the energetic body to make joy, to make motivation, to make the personality larger. Like the sun, I said, would grow so much larger than it is, right? By creating joy out of nothing, you're growing your sun and projecting it outward more and more. So we're gonna come back to this in a minute too, because alchemy and the magic that happens in the solar plexus chakra is most powerful. And it's really something that I really want to start to get into. The heart chakra will be the main chakra where magic happens, but the solar plexus chakra is very important to the process. Okay. So another thing that we're going to look at with the solar plexus is the color. You know, obviously it's gold, looking at the gemstones that we work with and looking at the fact that this is your sun, right? We're looking at the color yellow or gold. And when we go down, we see that gold plus red, which is the root chakra, makes orange, which is the sacral in between. Gold or yellow with the throat chakra, blue, makes the green of the heart chakra. Okay? But right below the gold, that orange, and right above it, that green, they don't have anything to do with each other. The only thing that they have in common is yellow, the gold. So these lower chakras are pretty far removed from the higher chakras. Energetically, there is something very different going on in the lower chakras than the higher chakras. So you can look at this. Everything is self. Everything is you. Everything that you experience, project, manifest, and come to see outside of yourself comes from within yourself. Okay? So let's start with that premise. The lower chakras could be considered your demons. That's where the dragons live. And it's not the kind of demons that, religious people look at and say, oh, it's the devil. It's the work of the devil. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your basic needs and your physical existence. It all lives down here. So yes, when those things are threatened, or when we don't understand them, or when there are changes or imbalances in these areas, we act out in ways that aren't necessarily enlightened or helpful to all of creation. The higher chakras are your angels. And this is where the angelic realm is found within the human experience. So all of your lower needs are met, and you have an ascending energy, and here is where you experience inspiration, love, all of the higher vibrational expressions of self come from here and above. The solar plexus sits right in the middle, right between your dragons, your demons, and your angels. This is the place where self exists. And this is the place where you choose, and also where you join forces. Join the light with the dark, right? All of that happens in here. And that's the power of self, and that's why this is where alchemy happens. So you're not necessarily just transmuting demon energy or dragon energy into angel energy, or vice versa. You're taking both of those amazing, powerful vibrational opposites and compressing them like the sun does, right, into self. A very focused expression of self in this physical manifestation. This one little tiny physical manifestation in the all that is you. Okay, so remember that as we move forward, because the demons and the angels of self are projected from here. They're hidden down here. Well, the demons and the dragons are hidden down here. And the angels and the higher vibrations are not seen or accessible up here. The only way that they manifest in this reality is here, in the center, in the self. Okay? So if you know about the tarot, then you know tarot cards, if you've ever had your tarot read, or if you dabble at all in the tarot, which I highly recommend, you may notice I've got a lot of decks. It's my thing, all right? I find that it's a beautiful way to do shadow work and to communicate with my guides, gods, and guards. So there are 4 suits in the minor arcana in the tarot: wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. Each of these is a symbolic expression or corresponding to an element. So, pentacles corresponds to earth, right? So pentacles is what you actually manifest in this life. It's the thing that you bring forth from self. Now, swords corresponds to air, and these are these chakras up here. Cups corresponds to water, and that is the heart chakra. And wands corresponds to fire, and that is here. So wands, fire, spirit. Cups, water, emotions. So here you have spirit, which is motion. It's doing things, making things happen. I'm on fire. I'm going to go get it. I'm going after this. I'm going to make it happen, right? Motion. Emotion. I'm going to feel it. I attract it. I desire it. Not in the way that you do in the sacral chakra, but in a way, well, yeah, we're going to do the heart chakra next, okay? But anyways, I vibrate with it. I resonate with it. I feel it. I experience it. I love it. That's the heart, okay? Here, I'm driven. I'm making it happen. I bring it forward with fire and spirit. I go after it. I'm a tiger kind of thing, right? So also I am it. I project it. I create it, right? It's me that you see manifesting in my life. Whatever it is that you manifest in your life, that's how you can tell what you are. There is an open book and a closed book for you to study in this life. The open book is what you see all around you, and that is what manifests out of your experience. The closed book is what's within you, where you have to go into the dark hidden places that has not manifested yet, or may never, but it exists within, right? That open book comes from the toroidal field, right? So the sound of the solar plexus chakra is Ram, R-A-M, Ram. You can say the word and just feel that churning of that field, churning of that donut-shaped torus coming out from the center of your being, right? Just try to do that for a minute. Ram. I know it sounds funny, but that is the actual sound that resonates with that chakra. There are some other things that I want to mention that correspond with that chakra. So, this is the golden orb that sits in the center of the tree of life. This is where Lakshmi, Venus, the goddess of beauty and love, lives, right? This is where symmetry happens. This is what we consider the seat of beauty, because beauty is, it's a strange thing, but the more symmetrical something is, the more pleasing it is to the eye. But there's a reason for that. It tells you that there's a deep balance, that there is a perfect, harmonious balance in an energy, and that is what we consider easy and comforting and beautiful. So firing up this center does a lot of things for you energetically. It projects out your personality. It builds the boldness, the courage, the assertiveness that is required for that flower to bloom, that flower of your life to bloom, which you don't want a seed to crack open and not to bloom. You want that ascension to continue. So you do want to build your solar plexus chakra. I often talk about balancing your chakras relative to the chakras around them, and that is most important with, say, these lower chakras as a group and these higher chakras as a group. But with the solar plexus chakra, it's almost like I said, things are, you are joining the lower chakras with the higher chakras here, but not necessarily balancing them here. Your solar plexus chakra, in my opinion, you want it to be as bright as you can make it. You want to feed your solar plexus chakra and not worry about balancing it with the other chakras, because the degree to which your solar plexus chakra is I won't say active, because there are ideas out there where when something is overactive, this happens, and then when something is underactive, that happens. And I'll talk about that in just a second. All right. But you want it to be as healthy as you can make it, as vibrant as you can make it, because that reflects in the expression of your life. So hopefully you'll find space in a daily practice to at least do the breath of fire, if not the breath of fire, some breathing exercise, and remember that what you're focusing on is your solar plexus when you do, because breath work definitely sits in the solar plexus region. Thich Nhat Hanh has a mantra, or had a mantra, that resonated with, in my opinion, he didn't say this was for the solar plexus chakra. It's one of the mindfulness practices that he taught, where when you breathe in the idea flower. And when you breathe out the idea fresh. So breathing in, think, I am a flower. Breathing out, think, I am fresh. And if you do this practice, it's actually doing something very similar to the breath of fire. The I am a flower idea shows the flowering or the blooming of this energy center. And the fresh idea shows the refining of the energy into gold. So all of the dross falling, anything that's not fresh, right? Anything that's not new and pure and joyful and motivating and life affirming. Just being transmuted in the fireplace of self. Transmuted into confidence, purpose, action. Action being the key word, because this is wands, the suit of spirit in the tarot, is where we are active, where we make things happen, where we go get it, where we put our feet underneath us and put one foot in front of the other, and with confidence we go in the direction of our dreams and make it happen. Why not? We have this one life, and we came with a purpose. Make it happen. All right. All right. So I like the mantra, I am the master of this life. I am the master of this life. Because this is the chakra of sovereignty. I own this life. I own this body. I am in charge of what happens. I take ownership of my life. I am not a victim. I'm not a victim of, I didn't have my needs met. I didn't have good rooting as a child, right? I am not a servant of my higher angels. They inform me, but they do not direct me. I came to direct my own life. I am the master of this life. I take ownership of this life. And that, to me, is a very, very good mantra for this chakra. So if you will do this with me, if you have a quarter mala, that's great. If you want to pause the video and go over a full mala, 108 beads, that's fine too. When we do our mantras together, our mantra is exponentiated energetically. So we can help each other make magic happen. I will give you my magic, you give me your magic. All right? So grab your mala, and we're going to do 27 repetitions. I am the master of this life. Okay? I am the master of this life. 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 Now, obviously, we are the master of our lives, right? But I just want to say that about sovereignty and about self-directed life and all that stuff, I am not in, I do feel that our dragons and our demons have a place. I know they do, because I work closely with mine. But your dragons can only be, they're there to serve you. They're protective of you. They help you to meet your own needs in healthy ways. Well, they can learn to help you meet your needs in healthy ways. The angels will help them do that. So this is the meeting place for the lower and higher vibrations. But I do not want to say that, oh, your demons and dragons are, equal to your angels. That's probably not the case. I'm not saying that that's the case at all. I'm saying that they have an important role to play, And I feel like we have overlooked them, or we've repressed them and suppressed them and looked down on them um, throughout the latter part of history, or the more recent couple thousand years. you know? um, so um, you are the master of this life, and what you choose to do is the only thing that matters. But be driven and directed by the higher vibrations, and let the lower vibrations learn to traverse the path that is more elevated. That's why our energy ascends. There is a descent from Father Sky to Mother Earth, but our energy ascends. We are ascending, as are our dragons and demons. They're ascending as well. Okay? We've already descended. We are already this particle of self projecting into physical reality. Now it's our job to ascend. So when I come back and we talk about the heart chakra, we're really going to get high vibe. But so this isn't about high vibe. This is about integration, integrating the lower chakras and the upper chakras into self, and projecting yourself and understanding what you are, what your power is, what your energy is. You have total control of what happens in your life. And this is where that control begins and ends, because a toroidal field is the beginning and the ending of energy. There's like a void in the center, a black void in the center that's like a black hole. And the energy just showers out, and it comes back though, right? It's a cyclical thing that never ends. It's a constant churning of energy. And in this constant churning of the fire pit, of the self, everything can be transmuted if you intentionally practice alchemy with your thoughts, words, and deeds. Okay? And I don't know if I made this clear earlier. So the way that we do that, the way that we alchemically transmute lead into gold, is by changing our lower vibration into a higher vibration. The way we change our lower vibration into a higher vibration is when we don't feel motivated to do something, because, and you may not know why you don't feel motivated to do something. That's not what matters. Make yourself do it anyways. Be the suit of wands. Be active. Be proactive. Make yourself do it anyways. Pick yourself up from your bootstraps and listen to a motivational speaker that fires you up, and then take action in the direction that you want to go. And you're transmuting fear of failure, fear of success, lack of believing in yourself, lack of motivation, laziness, whatever it is that's holding you down, you're transmuting that into action. And that is the stuff of magic. It gets much more powerful in the heart, but this is very important. The same with joy. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling just low energy, if you're feeling any kind of negative emotion, you can transmute that into joy by choosing to see what you're grateful for. Smelling lemon literally makes you happy. Speaking affirmations, positive affirmations about yourself and your life. Counting your blessings. You know, thank you for this, thank you for this, thank you for this, thank you for this, as many times as you can. Practicing gratitude is so important. But by doing that, you transmute depression into joy. You transmute loneliness into joy. You transmute lack of gratitude into gratitude. You make it happen in this space. And by doing that, by transmuting that, anything in the lower vibration to a higher vibration, you're empowering yourself and you're expanding your sun outward, and you are expanding your life outward, right? Because when the sun is small, it's still very powerful, but it's compressing. It's compressing. It doesn't have hardly any space in between its particles. When it expands, the space fills up between its particles, and this solar system itself becomes a part of the sun, right? So this earth becomes a part of you. This universe becomes a part of you, part of your energetic body in this iteration. Everything is part of you already. Okay. So just one more thing that I like to practice that helps that to happen, that helps me to expand my light, is I envision, as I breathe in, the sun in the center of my being. As I breathe in, it's very small and focused, but it becomes extremely bright, like a quasar or some kind of really bright, very focused piece of light. Okay, you breathe in, and this light in the center becomes so white and bright you can't even look at it, right? And you breathe out, and the light shoots out and fills the universe. Just envision the light pouring out, shooting out by its rays. And as you exhale, you're exhaling light to fill the whole universe from your center. So you breathe in, the light is bright. You breathe out, the light is big, right? Breathe in, the light is bright. Breathe out, the light is big. That's a very powerful practice. I've done that from the time I was a child, and it's addictive. It is addictive. When you're feeling down, sick, fearful, hurt for anything, confused, overwhelmed, whatever, do this practice, and you will remember. It will remind you who you are. So, and that's ultimately what we're doing, right? We're just here to remember who we are. So, next week we'll do the heart chakra, but in the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. Let me know how this works for you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me with this work. Mala blessings, love, and light.